Welcome to the Sex and Love Labcast. This week on the podcast, I'll be talking about what it's like to be intimate with someone new. What are the ins and outs? What's weird and what's not? Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sex and Love Labcast. I am your host, Lauren, here for another week of my podcast. Before I do that, I do want to do some housekeeping. First of all, last week's video is at 118 views, which is wild to me. My best performing video before that was the one about my spanking fetish, which has 91 views in 3 months. And last week's video has 118 in less than a week. I don't know why, but I am grateful. So let's hope the algorithm guides of YouTube keep pushing me out to the right people. Speaking of people, I did get a comment on my last video. Comments are great. And honestly, even if you want to comment mean stuff, that's okay. In the beginning, I was afraid of mean comments because I was bullied growing up. But you probably can't tell me anything I haven't already heard. So if you think I'm useless and you want to put that in a comment, that's totally fine because it's just going to push the algorithm for me. However, calling somebody useless is kind of mean. So the comment was about, and I want to address this because I want to do what is best for my audience, what they want, but also it's my podcast. So the complaint was about going ahead and getting to the point of the podcast so that I didn't have to scroll to halfway through. Well, so here's the thing is that I kind of just talk, like I have points written down. And as for last week, I had 6 points. So I don't know which point I was supposed to get to so that you didn't have to go to halfway through. I even talked about the fact that I was dating someone in the first half. So I was genuinely a little confused because it went useless, then get to the point, and then good luck. And I don't know if that was like a good luck in your relationship or good luck being useless. I don't know. But just know that I do have multiple points per podcast and it's not scripted. There's no teleprompter here. I'm just speaking. So if you're one of those people that wants the point early, this is probably not for you. And that's okay. You can scroll away. I'm mad at you. I will still love you. Okay. Okay. All right. We good? Okay. All right. You sure? Okay. I will tell you that I am going to try to, I'm trying to learn more about YouTube and podcasting. And I know there's a bit of like markers. And so I am trying to learn to do that. I'm also in the midst of transitioning into a new job. And so things are a little bit crazy. And then I also have my new relationship. And so I'm doing my best. I haven't even podcasted in a month when I put that one up. And so I'm glad that it's doing so well. Not so excited about being called useless, but again, whatever. So intimacy with someone new. And I actually planned this to be a little bit different. I recorded it yesterday. And then my heart said to kind of change course a little bit. And so I'm changing course a little bit. Just a little. Just a little. So intimacy with someone new. But what is intimacy? So I'm going to go to Google and we're going to define intimacy. Intimacy definition. Close familiarity or friendship, closeness. A private, cozy atmosphere. An intimate remark, closeness of observation or knowledge of a subject. Okay. Now there's different kinds of intimacy, right? So like even here, there's listed emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. And I do want to talk about mainly the physical aspects of being intimate with someone new, but also some of those emotional aspects as well. So I think one of the biggest things for people in general is showing somebody new your body, right? That can be rough. Nobody wants to be judged or called useless. I swear I'm over it. I swear. Nobody wants to be called names or be judged, especially when they get naked. Nobody. And as a larger person, a larger bodied person, I've always struggled with, being naked. Now, the thing is that for the friends with benefit situations that I've had in the past, I didn't care. I didn't care. If they didn't like it, we were only there for one thing anyways. We were doing it. It was fine. But this was different. This was a little bit different. I wasn't scared that he was going to judge me, but it was like laying all my secrets out for somebody, which I've already done anyway. But it was just like laying all of that out. And, you show somebody new all of these things that you don't show everybody, right? He made me feel very comfortable in my body. He likes bigger girls anyways. So like I was okay. But he made sure that I was comfortable. He touched me and I hate my belly. I hate it. I've got a muffin top and then I've got a pretty impressive fupa. It's just genetics. My dad's body type is the same way. I inherited it and that's okay. But he would rub and touch on my belly, even kiss my belly, which was new. And I let him, which was new. So that made things, I think, a lot more comfortable for me. Like I don't have a problem getting naked in front of him. And I do feel like we do again live 2 hours apart. Mr. lives 2 hours away. It's like a minute 45 if on a good day. So we don't get to see each other often, and so we haven't had a lot of physical experiences just yet. I've had enough to know that I feel comfortable, and I know that the more experience we have together, the more comfortable it's going to get. And of course, then the more comfortable you are in your physical intimacy with somebody, the more you can experiment. And like we've already done a lot of things experimentally. He's very ambitious about pleasure, which is fun. So yeah, I know that it's hard to show somebody your body. How do you guys deal with it? Like a lot of times in the past, I would actually be intimate with my gown on. Like I wear cute little baby doll gowns year round, just not to impress anybody. It's not to be cute or sexy. I like how they feel. They're strapless. They stop like mid thigh, so I'm not super hot. I'm not super covered in fabric. Don't like that. That it's just what I wear. But I have in the past had sex with those things on so that I felt better about my body. The funny thing is, hiccups, excuse me, is that even when you're wearing a gown, no matter how long it is, they know what your body looks like. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. They can tell. I came to terms with that a long time ago, even just with regular clothes. It's like people can see you. They know what your body looks like. Why cover it? If you're comfortable, I mean, you don't walk around naked outside unless you are in a safe zone where you could do that. Then definitely do that. Would I do that? I'm not gonna say no. This has gotten off track. I don't feel like I have to wear any clothes in front of him. He has taken them off for me, like just very excited to be there. Very excited to be there. As was I. So that part, while it is definitely a point of contention, it went really smoothly. Like I was just comfortable. I was just comfortable. So if you aren't comfortable, what do you do? Like, what do you do to make yourself comfortable? Do you do it with the lights off? I'm a lights on girl. I'm a lights on. I need to see what's happening. I need to see what I'm doing. The only acceptable time for lights off for me is middle of the night. And then, you got time to turn the light on. So I am pretty honest with people up front about who I am, what I do, what I like. And I do that because generally there's a few things that happen. One, the guy is a total douchebag and just wants to sext and or have a hookup. So me talking about those things fairly early on does kind of go ahead and weed out those people. Or they're scared of me and they think that they will be unable to provide pleasure. Like I do not agree with this. Let me just say I do not agree with this. But I did have two people last year tell me they were intimidated by me. Me, like, wow, well, you can have any man you want. Well, I don't think that's true. I am confident in who I am, and I do think people find that attractive. But I don't think that that is necessarily true. What they thought it was. So it also kind of weed out those people. You do have to be strong-willed and confident in yourself to be with me. Period. I talk about sex for a living. I coach people through their intimate moments. You've got to be confident and strong and sure of yourself to be with me. I know this. I know that this is what makes a lot of dating hard for me. And so we talked about these things pretty early on in a very casual and respectful manner. He never stepped out of line. He never tried to make it about him. He never tried to push. He is a perfect gentleman, perfect gentleman. But I was very open about these things, and I mean, I do like some things that a lot of people are not into. Um, like I have on my list of points because I have multiple points. I have down here about BDSM. Like he is not vanilla, but he is not to the level of spicy that I am. And that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. We have discussed the things that I like, and I even showed him. I got real brave and I screenshot my kinks and like my likes and dislikes from my FetLife profile, and we discussed them in detail. And so he knows those things about me, and wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. He didn't tell me that I was intimidating, and he also didn't try to push me for anything that I wasn't ready for, like at all, at all. It was weird. It was weird, but it was good. So we discussed the likes and the dislikes, and we have sort of talked about how to integrate some of my likes into our intimacy. There are things that he is not used to doing, but he is willing to experiment with. And that's all I'll say about that in detail at the moment. So something else that is, always on the list of, especially first times, right, is the mechanics, just the physical mechanics of being two humans. Every two humans' bodies are different. Some people are more flexible than others. Some people prefer different positions than others. Some people are large like me. Some people are tall. Some people are shorter. Some people are skinny. It's just there's just so much. There's actually so much involved in the actual sexual mechanics, the physical mechanics, that it's good to have those conversations beforehand. And we did. We did. It has not been an issue. Uh, he is. My last partner was really tall. Really tall. He was 6'4". And Mr. is not 6'4". Mr. is closer to my height, which I actually prefer. You see how these people are like, oh, I want somebody who's tall. I mean, I get it. Like, hi, but just even cuddling with him is easier because he's closer to my height, and the mechanics, the physical mechanics of relations are also easier. So like we're batting 1,000 here so far. Like there's not been a thing that was like, oh, I don't know. Then there are some things to work on. There's some things to work on. I've got, like I am a big girl. So one of the things for me is that, especially in softer beds, which my bed is actually really firm, but in softer beds or beds with pillow tops, I sink. I sink. And that can be difficult to then get body parts, sorry, to get body parts aligned to the way that you want them to be. So like I have a wedge pillow that I've been meaning to take and I keep forgetting, but you make it work. You lift. One day I'll get a better setup. Today is not that day, but one day I will. So the physical mechanics have been a problem for us. They can be a problem for some people. I don't think I've ever been with anyone that it just like, well, there have been people that it just didn't work. There have. Also, can we talk about my curls today? Like I did my hair yesterday and it looks really good. I think I need to trim this. Look at that little ringlet. Look at that. Yeah, she looks good today. Mhm. There have been people in the past that it did not work. And I discussed in a previous podcast about my size versus a partner's size, right? For me, unfortunately, because I am a bigger girl, now it there is a certain size member that works better, right? It doesn't mean that the shorter ones don't work. You just have to you have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. So that can be hard. This isn't the case here. Um, I think that one of my concerns, at least in the beginning, which kind of goes back to the likes and dislikes, was that I am into BDSM. I do like to be spanked. I do like things a little rough sometimes. It is not a necessity all of the time. And I mean, spanking is not like super abnormal. I think most men do it during sex at some point or another. It's especially if you're in doggy, they really like to spank the booty. So he has agreed to, kind of learn the ropes. He does not want to hurt me, which I respect. And I though, so this is kind of a sensitive subject. I just recently discussed this with my therapist. With my dom, who is really the only person who has ever spanked me. Every time I saw him, because I didn't see him often, and so every time I saw him, like what I was doing, it was like I was trying to reach an accomplishment, an achievement, right? Let me see how long I can go. Let me see how bruised I can get. And this is different. Also, one of the reasons that I've always enjoyed, I say always, I didn't even realize it until 2021 when I actually was like truthfully spanked for the first time. It's a great way for me to process. Um, I find that after like an actual spanking session, I was able to release so much out of my body. I was able to my focus was clearer, my head was clearer. And I did mention that to him that I don't necessarily need all the components of BDSM. I don't necessarily want all the components of BDSM, but just the spanking sometimes I do, I feel like I need. I feel like that is a need for me. So I told him, I was like, I do want this. And so he has tried to incorporate that into our intimate moments and has agreed to continue to try to learn. But again, we haven't had a lot of chances to actually be together. We've been together 7 weeks and he lives 2 hours away. So we're doing the best that we can. I feel I feel good about the future of that. It's just getting to the part that is the future. He's not like, no, I'll never do that. He's just like, let's take it slow so I can learn and do this correctly. Hmm, I respect that. I respect that. I don't have any fear of not getting what I need from him. Because in addition to the fact that we have had these discussions, which, hey guys, you just have to talk. You have to talk about it. I know it's probably weird to try to talk about these things early on, but honestly, honest to everything, I feel like if my past relationships, if we had talked about these things up front, maybe they wouldn't have gone the way that they did. My ex-husband was into things he didn't tell me about in the beginning, and that I didn't want to do with him. And the doing them with him, the not wanting to do them with him, I believe was because we didn't share that actual like emotional intimacy. So physical and emotional intimacy are different, right? And we didn't share the emotional intimacy. I don't think I really ever trusted him a whole lot. And so I didn't want to do those things with him. And if we had talked about it beforehand, I don't know what would have happened, but maybe something different would have happened. And so I was really thankful that Mr. was so open to discussing all of the things up front and not being a total douchebag about it. Like, I'm telling you, I couldn't ask for a more gentlemanly person. he's just, I could go on and on, but then I might be useless. So the last big point that I have is, and I'm going to read it out to you: being with someone who is a pleaser and excited to learn about my body. I feel like that statement is sad in a way. I'm 42. And I'm not saying that I've never been with anybody that was excited to please me. I'm just saying that I've never been with anybody who was quite this excited. He was asking questions about me and my likes and my body and where I like to be touched and where maybe I have never been touched. He was asking me where I've never been touched because he knows a thing or two. He knows a thing or two. And so he has used those places that I've never been touched. And I've realized, oh my gosh, they are erogenous zones that I possess that I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Um, I'm also, the reason that I re-recorded, I'll be honest with you, is that I mentioned some things that I realized I wanted to keep between the two of us, which is new for me. And he gave me permission to talk about anything that I would talk about with someone else within reason. Within reason, right? Within reason. And there are just some things that I have realized that are so emotionally intimate for me with him that I don't think that I'm ready to share them. I don't know that I'm ever going to share them. But that is one of the reasons that I re-recorded, and it does make it a little bit difficult to talk to you. Um, but not too difficult. He is a pleaser. He's absolutely a pleaser. Having been a submissive, I also want nothing more than for my partner to experience a load of pleasure. That's actually pretty fun. We both just want the other one to feel as much goodness as possible, honestly, in every way, not even just sexually. In general, like I want him to be so happy. Um, he loves to tell really bad jokes. They're like the worst dad jokes. And I've told him this, so I'm not telling you anything that I haven't said to him. But like I swear to you, sometimes it's almost like me laughing is better than sex for him. It's not. He even told me, he's like, it's not. I was like, I know, but like your eyes light up with joy when you tell a joke. And I laugh because it's so dumb. Um, so being a pleaser goes beyond the physical aspect as well. But it sure is fun with the physical aspect. This camera is sort of being weird today. He has never really had people be into, like, just really into performing oral sex on him. That's sad. But you know, my ex-husband was not into giving oral. He loved to receive it, but he was not a giver. I think the entire time we were together, which was roughly 5 years, I think we had, like, he performed oral sex on me maybe 3 or 4 times. And so I am excited to get to do that for Mr. Um, he's getting a new experience, and I am so happy to get to give that to him. There have been things he has given to me that I will talk about in well, you know, next week's episode was supposed to be have a guest who I don't think is in my life anymore. So, I might move it up to next week. Who knows? Who knows? But because he has taken the time to learn about me and my body. And I mean, like, he wants to know, should I move a little to the left? Should I move a little to the right? What he wants me to be verbal about what I like and what I don't like, or not even what I don't like, but what's not working as well as something else. And it's just wild. And it's, to me, it's like, it shouldn't be so crazy to have a partner that's willing to really learn your body, learn your likes. I I'm floored. I'm floored. I My last partner, who was a friends of benefits, great, great, great in bed. And he was pretty, like, he was not as what's the word? As like, he wanted to know what I liked, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like Mr. It wasn't the detail that he's trying to go in. Like, Mr.'s making notes. Mr. remembers things. There have been things that I told him literally 6 weeks ago that he just up and will mention, and I'm like, you remembered that? I don't, I don't know how to compute that. I feel so seen and so heard by this man in every way, in every way. And so originally the title of this episode was Sex with Someone New. And I wanted to retitle it Intimacy with Someone New because they are different. Right. And so I wanted to wrap this up talking about that emotional and even mental intimacy versus the physical. Like, the physical has been great. It's been absolutely fantastic. Um, you know, you can absolutely coach somebody through anything you want to coach them through. You can teach them techniques. You can have them practice on something for the physical aspect of intimacy. But the emotional aspect of intimacy is something that I feel like you either are capable of or you are not. And maybe it does have to do with who it is. And maybe it just really has to do with the level of emotional intelligence somebody has, or the level of healing or growth. I don't know. I don't know. And the more I know, the more that I'll tell you. But I do know that the emotional intimacy that I share with him is unlike anything I've ever experienced, and hands down makes the physical aspect 1,000 times better, 1,000 times everything. The closeness that I feel with this person in this way is unmatched. And I'm having to be so vulnerable, so vulnerable. And that is so hard, which is kind of what this whole episode is about, is being vulnerable. Um, I haven't really said that, but it's really what it's about, is being vulnerable. Um, if you haven't heard of Brene Brown, she actually has a TED talk on vulnerability and courage that I watched. It's been about 10 years ago, and it changed me. I've watched it several times. But it's like, have you ever had somebody that you couldn't not open up to? Like, they're here and you can't stop it. That's how it is. But I trust him. I know I maybe sound like I'm a little hesitant there, and I am a little hesitant to say that out loud, but I trust him. Um, I trust him that if he's going to watch his podcast, he understands what I'm saying. I trust that if he doesn't watch the podcast, I'm okay with that, because I know that that doesn't mean that he's not interested. I trust what he's saying to me to be true. I trust that he actually has my best interests at hand. I trust him to to try to make situations work. We've had discussions about the fact that I am a sex, love, and intimacy coach. And my podcast is about, sex, love, and intimacy. And how that works in going back and, telling your family and friends, hey, this is what this person does for a living. Um, and I am always ready for a problem. I am waiting for the other shoe to drop. And this time I'm having to be vulnerable and be open and be intimate. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that shoe to drop because of something that I did or didn't say. So um there are still some things that I have to work up the courage to talk about, but we did talk about the fact that I was worried that what I do is going to be a problem in the future. And maybe it is, but you know what his answer, you know what his answer was? I mean, we were sitting there holding hands. I was stroking his hand, rubbing. I love being near him and just like physically touching him. And we sat there and we talked for over 3 hours about things. And I asked some hard questions. And one of them was, what do we do if this becomes a problem? And he said, well, it's not a problem. I don't have a problem with it. And if my family has a problem with it, then that's their problem. And he's like, as far as your other concerns, you know, we won't know until we get there. Like, we can't put out a fire that's not there. And I don't even, camera, camera. I don't think he even maybe understood what was going on in my head, but I was definitely trying to self-sabotage in that moment and be like, here is some problems. We want to go ahead and end this, which I didn't say that, but that's what I was doing. He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me, which is nice. Camera, what is the problem? We've gotten through this really well. So this whole being intimate thing is working out, and it's making for better everything. Like just telling him how I feel about things is making for better everything. And that's never been the case. Like expressing my feelings in the past has always led to a fight. And I think it's because it's hard to hear, hey, this is not something I really care for about you. Or hey, what you're doing hurts me. And I know for me, for me personally, when someone tells me I have hurt them, I get upset, not at them, at myself. But that emotion is redirected in the wrong place, right? And now, like, we're both just taking it in complete stride. And it's weird. It's great, but it's a learning experience for sure. So just talk talk to your person, especially if there's someone new. Don't be afraid to say some of the stuff up front because it's going to make for an easier conversation later. And maybe you learn up front that this is not the person for you, which is not what we want. But we also don't want to get 6 to 8 months into a relationship and then realize, oh, we're not really that compatible. Talk, 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 please. I'm gonna keep talking, so you have to keep talking. Also, as good as my hair is, the little strands that are killing me. It's fine though. I'm about to be done. So this episode is brought to you by After Dark Playgrounds here in Pensacola, Florida. It is a fan freaking tastic kinky Airbnb in the heart of Pensacola. It's got multiple rooms, 2 stories, 2 bathrooms, BDSM rooms. There's 2 beds. There's swings. There's a massage room. There's a lounge that's got a pole. There's a fantastic. I mean, the kitchen is beautiful. They really took this house and made it a little oasis. It's all streamlined with technology. You can access just about anything in the house from one of the 2 tablets that they have. They have medical grade professionals clean in between each visit, so there's no chance of cross contamination of anything of any kind. They clean top to bottom. In fact, they cannot overbook because they do spend so much time cleaning, prepping for guests. I highly recommend you go visit them. It's afterdarkplaygrounds.com. They're also on the Airbnb site, but if you book straight through them, I believe you can avoid some fees. They do rent by the day. Like if you want to host a photo shoot, all they ask is that you do tag them in any pictures that are posted for credit. I'm Lauren. I am a sex, love, and intimacy coach here in Pensacola, Florida. I am taking clients. If you have any questions about how that works, please feel free to inbox me just so you do know. Coaching is kind of like talk therapy, except I don't have those degrees. I have a coaching certificate. I have been taught how to coach you through things, how to get you to open up, how to get you through things, and how to talk about things in a professional manner without it being overtly sexual. I just had somebody the other day message me, was like, sex coach, tell me about that. And I did explain, and they asked, are you married? And I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And they were like, well, I don't want to offend anyone. Well, if you're worried about offending somebody, it's probably me you should be worried about offending. I'm the professional. And he's like, well, I don't want to offend anyone. I'm like, okay, does a plumber get offended when you call about your pipes? No. The plumber only gets offended when you talk about laying pipe, you know? And I said, do you think the plumber's, spouse is upset that they get a phone call or a text about a job? No. And so he says, yeah, but they're not talking about sex. I was like, yeah, we aren't right now either. You have to book a session for that. And I'm so sorry. My allergies are crazy. If you message me, if you want to tell me a little bit about what's going on, that's totally fine, but we're not going to sit there and discuss it. A lot of men do message me just because they want to tell me about their kinks and fetishes and get me to talk to them for free. That's not it. I'm freaking camera, freaking camera. I'm a professional, can't you tell? The As soon as my life gets together, I think that this is a really great camera. I've been told that my camera's good, but I want a better camera. If you have any suggestions on cameras, drop it in the comments. Um, Somewhere on the screen is my information. I am like I said, a sex, love, and intimacy coach. I do sessions. Sometimes people will see me for 4 weeks. Sometimes they'll see me for 4 months. It just depends on your need. We can continue to have sessions as long as you want. I can teach you how to be a dominant or a submissive. I can help coach you through a breakup. I can help you get in touch with your inner self. Okay, there's so much that we can do together. You're welcome to email me, to inbox me. I also have a women's group on Facebook called the Venus and Vixen Academy, women only. Okay. There are some questions to answer on the front end, and that's just to make sure that I know you aren't a bot or somebody pretending to be somebody else and that everybody in there is safe. That is my number one priority. But we do freely, openly talk about sex. It's not like a huge, like just lots of people talking about it at one time, but we do talk about it. I put some posts in sometimes. I'm trying to get better about posting after taking my break in December. So that's all I got for you. I will see you next week. And next week is either going to be the value of emotional intelligence in relationships or one of my firsts with Mr. So you'll have to come back and see. You guys have a great day. I love you so much.